Teachers nowadays really have to wear a lot of different hats. You have to be a good online teacher, you have to be a good offline teacher, you have to be good in between, service provider, counselor, so many different things. And with the pandemic, really things have started to divide, especially the digital divide. Now you may be saying, okay, now, how has online teaching impacted the digital divide? Really, how has emergency online teaching impacted the digital divide? Welcome to the Exceptional Teacher channel, where students and teachers can learn how to be the best they can with the latest educational tools, resources, and tips. I'm your humble host and SPED teacher, Destiny Jordan. Now you may be thinking, what is digital divide? Well, the digital divide is, in education, the gap between those who have sufficient knowledge and access to internet and technology along with those who do not. And so this really means for students and families to understand how to use technology, not just having it, and also having access to reliable internet access and high speed. This also means households have to have sufficient internet speed, and that really impacts densely populated areas and rural communities as well. And so where do things all come from? The digital divide has been a decade-old problem, really starting all the way back in the 1960s during the Cold War in Soviet Union and our race to space. And so back in 1960, when our race to space, the government started to fund math and science and technology for America's education to enhance us in the area of science and technology against the Russians. And so in 1963, they had the Vocational Education Act that the government would help fund schools to have technology in the schools. And by the mid-1980s, Apple, everyone's favorite computer, was in schools, integrated in schools and technology. However, as technology started to advance and the government funding went away for a lot of technology, a lot of schools couldn't keep up with the demand of having technology. And so it became where schools and communities that had enough funds to fund the projects and fund having technology in the schools kept on going. But then there were communities and schools that could not keep up with the funding because they had to fund it themselves, along with other things and grants, and they didn't have enough funds. So those students were not able to access those technologies, and the divide started to grow. And so there's a lot of disparities between communities that have the funds and communities that do not have the funds. Fun fact, again, evolutions of email in 1965 in Massachusetts Institute. However, jump forward to 1971, Ray Tomlinson invented the email that we know between organizations. And that, truth be told, makes email only 57 years old, so it's relatively young. And then let's talk about the internet. The official birthday of the internet was January 1st, 1981, which makes the internet, and let's just also keep in mind that the internet, even though it was created in the 1980s, a lot of people didn't use the internet until the 1990s, early 2000s during the dot-com bubble. So all in all, the internet is only about 39 years old if we're going back in that day. So all these technologies are fairly new, almost in one generation. And so at this point in time, really families and children may not know the full potential of how to use technologies and how they're growing vital and necessity in the workplace and also at home. Which brings us to the point of now, how has really COVID-19 impacted the digital divide or the skyrocketing of the digital divide? How has COVID-19 impacted digital divide? Well, first things first, COVID-19 has exacerbated the digital divide, which since it was a quick switch to online, quicker than most schools anticipated, and that really showed the fact that a lot of families and homes did not have reliable internet and struggled during the pandemic to keep up with the demands of educational insight. It really impacted certain denominations and also marginalized citizens, as far as some of the racial breakdown of students that either had no access to internet or had dial-up access, which is fairly slow, even in the 2020 season of COVID-19, done by a study in 2018. It was 27% of Native Americans, 19% of African Americans, 17% of Hispanics, 12% of Pacific Islanders, 7% of those who identify with two ethnicities, and 7% of Caucasian, and only 3% of Asian. which brings to the startling fact that 87% of households have access to an internet-enabled device, such as a smartphone or a tablet and things like that. However, this also provides that only 73% of households have access to internet, which is staggering because that means 27% of people do not have access to reliable internet. And this really affects children in rural areas that have reliable internet and dial-up. Also, it's hard for a lot of English language learners as well to have in special education communities to adopt the online learning due to the learning curve for some of them, as far as the instructions and how to use them properly for educational purposes. So the pandemic really hit really hard on these certain communities about how to use technology, and thus really highlighting how much the digital divide has happened over the years since the inception of the internet and technology. And so how can we fix it? How can we make it better for communities that are really hurt by the digital divide, and how we can make it better for them? Well, Forbes and Global Citizen give you 3 good ways of how you can fix that. Let's go into the next one. We're going to talk about how to fix the digital divide. And Forbes has really gave, along with Global Citizens, some great answers about how to help to fix the digital divide in 3 different ways. First way, number 1, universal connectivity. Universal connectivity really just means where school district and the internet provider will come together and be able to provide internet for the school and the district, as well as in the communities that the school serves in the district as well. And I've seen that work really well in Piedmont, the elementary school I came from. It is where Piedmont is very small, but the school have really worked with the main internet provider, which is like one, and they provided internet for the school and also for the community, so that when students left the elementary school, they could work on their assignments at school and wouldn't have fear of losing internet at home because of that partnership, that community partnership. And that's one way that universal connectivity can work for closing the digital divide. The second way, now if you're a bigger district, that may not be plausible. You may have more than one internet provider, so this may not work for you. The second way could flexible educational platforms. Now, what's that? It's more taking on a college-type model for the elementary, middle, and high school arenas. And that just means having maybe some stuff on online, more online teaching, maybe the videos and different types of discussion boards and things like that. And also on the offline side, you having more paper copies, more conversations, making it more accessible for the students on both ends and flexible. So maybe some days we'll do things online, some things we'll do offline, something will be a mixture between the two. And that way making it easy for students to engage with the content in multiple different ways, depending on internet connectivity at their places of residence. And that could be really good for bigger districts to have schools have different types of way of engaging with the platform with their students and in the community. Another way that may work for some communities better is the use of local libraries and community centers. And that just means for sometimes the local libraries do not have the best internet. And this way, with the partnership, we're working one-on-one with families, finding how to strengthen the local libraries of having better internet and access to internet, along with community centers that help families as well. And that way, so it can help students when they leave school, be able to find proper internet outside of their school area. And maybe having transportation from the school to a library, really working with the community to enable parents and students to have great reliable internet in different places outside the school, mainly like libraries, community centers, cafes, things like that, and helping with transportation. And so those are ideas that you can throw around with your school or district to help really bridge the digital divide and help your communities that are affected by internet not having reliable internet as well in your area. And so one thing that we're leveling up on digital divide, one way to help level up your teaching is these 4 wonderful apps that can help you tackle your online teaching as teachers, along with some additional tips about your SPED students and ELL learners, and also 504s. So let's get into it. Let's go into these 4 wonderful apps to help you tackle your online teaching as a teacher. The first one I'm getting into is ClassKick. ClassKick is basically a document annotation type material where students can, with you, annotate on the document as they learn about different processes and tactics and topics. And so I see this a lot with English students, that you can really write along and underline those adjectives, those nouns, those verbs, and that could really be great for students to learn about. Next one is an old time favorite is Book It. And so this one is really great to gamify your lessons. Students can play as a class with games like gold mining, cyber hack. This way students can really be engaged with the material while having fun and competing against each other in duels. It's a lot of fun. Similar to Kahoot, if you know that app as well. Another one that's fun is Video Ant. So what is Video Ant? Well, you may think of that your videos, kids are watching them and not really engaging and not really intaking the information that they need to. So with Video Ant, this way students can interact with the video, either yours or one from YouTube, is that they can annotate on the video, ask questions, highlight certain information they like from the video, that they want to talk about from the video. And that way, they really can engage and start to hone on the information you have provided in the video. Another one is Calio EDU. Now this one's great for debates. Debates in the class sometimes can fall flat. Kids may just want to say whatever they feel and not really give you a lot of information behind it. Now with Calio EDU, I may be saying it wrong, it's Kialo. I hope I said it right. And this way, but with this app, they can really delineate and prove their reasons why, especially with their pros and cons tree. So there's a broad statement, the students will pick their side and really pick the information that supports their side of why they think that way. And they can see that from their classmates and really engage in better critical thinking skills with this type of app to have more engaging and meaningful debates on certain subjects. That can be used in English, in math, in history and science, and really all over to kind of have better conversations and move that forward. Now, as I promised, we're going to talk about some skills in online teaching that can be helpful when it comes to your SPED students, English language learners, and possibly 504 students as well. So let's get into that. Now, one thing that could be good app for SPED students is Khan Academy and iExcel. For middle school area, Sally, middle school 6th grade through 8th grade, they have math, English, science, and history lessons available for remediation. Also can be read aloud to them and to be listened to. And that's one of the biggest things, exceptionality for students that is needed for SPED students, especially. It's always a good exceptionality. Also, Khan Academy. Khan Academy is very visual and also have integrated its quiz and tests they can take also for remediation in the area of math. Now, the best thing is always to enable for SPED students when they have their iPads or if they have a Chromebook or a MacBook is to enable text-to-speech. And this way is a good assistive technology that reads the text to them so they can engage with it that way than trying a hard time reading it themselves. And also one good way, if you're doing essays or typing or some sort of thing or note-taking at some points, that good way to use this tool is diction. And most all programs and apps and applications have a built-in text-to-speech and diction application. And that way students can, if they're doing essays especially, is to speak into it, like my phone down here has the diction app, and they can speak into it and they can type the words that they're speaking, and that way maybe their case manager or you and the student can go back and edit it, but that way the content's on the page, the student didn't struggle typing or trying to figure out their vernacular, so things like that. So that's really great help for students as well. The next thing will be Prodigy Math. That's another way to gamify learning for students. They have their own little characters, own little missions in the area of math, and they go along the journey and trail, and it's a lot of fun for students. A lot of students like to play that game and also learn at the same time. Also, there's students can use is ReadWorks. ReadWorks is a great resource for reading comprehension on a plethora of areas from the veterans, from Cinco de Mayo, from Thanksgiving, just a lot of different topics and origins for students to be exposed to. on ReadWorks is allowed to be able to listen to it, assign work for students to work on, and also to work on questions. The biggest thing is the text-to-speech feature that's enabled in ReadWorks. It's already there. So instead of students reading the passage, they can listen to it as well and listen to the questions as well to be able to properly answer them. And that's always a great accessibility for them as well. Now, I cannot gush about this enough. For my English language learners, whether they speak Spanish, German, Arabic, anything other than English under the sun, the best app that I have worked with thus far is the Say Hi app. It's amazing. I love it so much, and I work with it daily with a lot of my English language learners, and especially with the different dialects of Spanish. There's Mexican Spanish, there's Guatemalan Spanish, there's Chica, there's different types of dialects of Spanish. And so with this app, by thus far, having different dialects within the app has been a game changer. This way, English language students can engage with the content in the general education better. It's been better, and I'm so excited. I love this app so much. It's good for translating. There's one feature where you can have a conversation where you speak into the app, and it translates into the desired language, which is usually Spanish for me. And the student can speak into the app in their native language, and they can translate into English for me. So that way we can have a conversation to help them engage and learn with the lesson. Also, this great thing is a lot of our students here have iPads. So on their camera app, the student can take a picture of any written form text on paper usually. Haven't tested it with screens, but with paper usually. And that will translate the text into the desired language, which is amazing. So students can really take their test and understand how to take their test not without accommodations, but without struggling to comprehend, because they can read the text that's translated from the image, which has been a game changer for a lot of my students. And it's been really useful in the classroom as well for them to be able to work in class and be able to kind of function and communicate with their peers a little bit better. Also great for English language learners is Newsy LA. Newsy LA offers a lot of articles in Spanish. And you can go from Spanish to English, go back and forth with a lot of verified text. So the English language learners can read it in Spanish or listen to it in Spanish and participate in reading comprehension that way. So that's really a great offer for them. Also, as I mentioned earlier, iExcel is also offered in Spanish in all main content areas. Also, Khan Academy is offered in Spanish as well. So that's really good for them as well to be able to help remediate with math skills in that general arena. Now, for students with 504s, they can benefit from a lot of these same exceptionality and accessibilities, such as extended time, text-to-speech, diction, besides extended time, things like that. It kind of differs on case-by-case basis, since 504s are mainly medical, and that's kind of just differentiates based on the medical condition. But a lot of these externalities and apps can be used with them in just kind of case-by-case basis. Now, the biggest thing that students learn great from apps, and they have great time on apps and interacting with each other. However, students learn best from their teacher, which is you. Now, I would say, which brings us to teacher instructional videos. Now, you may be saying, whoa, hold on, Jordan. Teacher instructional videos? I'm doing enough already. I'm doing lesson plans. I'm walking around. We're doing projects. Jordan, don't add on this other stuff for me. Not videos. Hold on. Now, teacher instructional videos is going to be one of the better ways to accommodate learning in your classroom, and also good for remediation in your classroom. Yes, you can find a YouTube video close enough to what you're doing and give that to students, but the students really learn best from their teacher, which is you. Now, to do a teacher instructional video, it does not have to be you just on the screen. It could be you just showing your PowerPoints, doing the voiceover. It can be you just showing or explaining something in the talking head, be like I'm doing right now. But there are 5 steps that you need to take to be able to do a teacher instructional video your way. First one is chunk the information. Meaning, get to the meat and the bones that students need to know for this lesson. Go straight into it, let students know what you need to do and what they need to know, giving them formulas, maybe materials, things like that, going straight to it. Number 2 is to have video-ready slides. Now, a lot of you all, which is great, a lot of teachers already have slides of their work. So this is not extra work for most of you all. And this way, video ready just means basically just have some clean and clear slides. Meaning students can read them properly and that they are concise about information they need to know. Don't put too much on one slide and make the slides as long as many slides as you need to be to convey the needed information. Now, step 3 is record. And you may say, oh, I can't do it, Jordan, can't do it. Recording, how can I record? Look, friends, and look, teachers. This does not have to be that difficult. Number 1, you have choose the recording device. Get a smartphone. Most smartphones and phones in general nowadays have wonderful camera quality and pretty decent audio. And that's the number 1 thing in any video is audio. And you can do it from your smartphone, or you can do it from your laptop. You can do it from possibly a camera like I have right now. And anyways, that way you can do it either or. It doesn't have to be hard to record. Don't make it hard. Next way is, option is screen recording, which there are free options and there are paid options. Now, with those options, let's go around about the free options because as a teacher, you gotta be a little frugal. Now, the free options, especially the greatest one is Canva. Canva is the king or queen of really good digital content and affordable digital content for teachers and any others who are not precisely graphic designers. And when Canva, you can go into Canva and create your slides, make them all nice and pretty or however you want them. And you can screen record within Canva and edit within Canva, all done on the free plan. So there's a button in Canva. So when you go to download your slides and things like that, there's a button that says present and record. And within Canva, you can choose how much you want to show on the screen to record. And you record the video and boom, bam, you're done. You have made your video. You can edit it as much or as less as you want. And boom, you're done. And that can be presented to your students and your families, either on your own YouTube channel, in Schoology, in Blackboard, in Google Classroom, Apple Classroom, whatever classroom you want to show it to. You can upload it to there and have it for your students to watch. And that way it's already done. That's one way. Also, you can, if you have a Windows computer, you can screen record with the Windows button and press G, that's a game bar. You can also do it on your MacBook as well with Shift Command 5. That will open up QuickTime, which is already enabled in all Macs, already free, and you can record your screen that way. If you have a Chromebook, you can screen record. Now, just in your settings, you'll have to enable audio just because it's not enabled in the original settings. So be sure to enable audio. But other than that, you can screen record with a Chromebook as well with Shift, Control, and then show Windows. And that way you can do it in your Chromebook. So those are all the free ways you can do a screen recording. Also, there's some paid ways in case you just want to be fancy. Some people are like that. Which is, you can use Camtasia, which is a high-end, very well built out system of screen recording that's really valued at like $2.99. Then you have Loom. Loom is used by a lot of companies and really small businesses, and that could be used as well. They have great plans starting at $8 to $10 a month, depending on what you need for it, or just do short videos for free on the free plan. Then you have ScreenFlow, which is available just on Mac. Loom and Camtasia are available on Windows and Mac, but ScreenFlow is only available on Mac. So, and that also is quite a nice little hefty fee. So if you don't want to really deal with all of that, I would say go with Canva. You're a great free option about screen recording. Now, the next thing you need, besides you've already picked your device, you're going to screen record on different programs, maybe Canva, I would say first, and you need a microphone. And I'm like, oh gosh, Jordan, I need a microphone. How do I know what good microphone to use? Well, if you're going to use your phone, there on Amazon, there's a $20 lavalier mic like I have over here, well, not $20, Mark, but it's a lavalier mic like I have over here. It's $20. If you have an iPhone, get a little adapter and plug it in, and you can have really great audio off your phone that way. There are also a couple mics that are available that are not even over $100 that you can use for your video, or you can just use your camera video on your actual camera or your microphone that's built into your laptop. You can use that as well and move on. But you still need to have decent audio so your students can enjoy and learn from the instruction that you're providing. Number 4, you need to enhance engagement. So you're like, well, Jordan, how can I possibly do that? Now, that could be done in a couple different ways. Number 1 way is Edpuzzle. Edpuzzle is a great Chrome extension that you can have built into your video where you have frequent checks of understanding, little quizzes, different things to engage your students as they watch the video. And also that can be done in conjunction with Video Ant, the app I told you about earlier. Video Ant is the way you can elaborate and kind of annotate your videos as they go. So that's a really good way to help enhance engagement to ensure students are understanding the information that they are getting from your videos. And also, this is a way good to diversify so you can have paper copies for your videos and kind of follow along, and they're following you along with the content that you want to have made known for them for the particular video or content you're doing. So that way it's diversifying your teaching with online benefits for your online students and your offline students, especially when students are sick. Well, I know the flu season's going on over here, so when students are out for whatever reason, either flu or injury or out of town for vacation, they can still engage with the content that you have made for them and how you want to be taught and the information that you want to be sure that students understand and provide to them. So that way it's really good to have enhance that engagement that way as well. And it's tip number 5. Tip number 5 is can sometimes get people, you gotta be yourself. So if you are like out there hyper crazy, you love it, you just love different things and like sparkles and glitters and glam, be you, be authentically you when you're on these videos to really convey that to your students. So they know this is the same Miss Potts as I see in online as I see offline. If you maybe be kind of maybe low energy and you're just kind of saying, I just spit the facts and I'm gone, be like that. If you're like that in real life, be like that on your online presence as well. The biggest thing that can happen as teachers as we're trying to do online is to be kind of out of ourselves and create a character that we're not. And that gives a disservice to you. Be who you uniquely are, have fun with it, be as glitz and glam as you want to be, or just be straight to the point you want to be. The thing is to provide the proper content information to the student in the best way that you know how. And the best way you know how is being you. And those are the 5 main ways to go ahead and make good, great teacher instructional videos. Now, we have done so much thing talking about leveling up as a teacher. We know about apps. We know about how to make a video. Now, the biggest thing, how do you level up your school? Now, you don't really level it up here, but we got to go. So let's go level up our school. Let's go, folks. Let's talk about leveling up your school. Now, you need to get in the room. Well, maybe not this room exactly, but you need to get in the room with your administrators, maybe your superintendent, or maybe some coordinators to really talk about how to level up your school. And the first thing first is to kind of do a checkup. And that means looking at, since COVID-19 was such a fast whirlwind of all types of different programs and initiatives and things like that and money and all types of stuff, we got introduced to a lot of things, but then we don't need everything. Now that we're kind of post-COVID-19, we kind of need to evaluate the programs and initiatives we started, if they're still needed, and if we need to exchange them for something better or different. So this is really good, doing a checkup of talking with your admins, your other teachers, and maybe supervisors and coordinators about the initiatives and programs that are working for us and things that are not. Really seeing if that the things that the district has invested in or the school has invested in is really making a cash payout, far as meaning the result it has with students and the community. Is it working? Is it not working? Do parents understand? Do students understand? Or do you even use it? Some initiatives teachers have been given to them, and they don't use them because they don't need them, because maybe they found another program or something better. And so really looking as a whole of what is needed and what's not. And that hurt a little bit, and also be a good time to share, to be honest about what works for your school and what doesn't. Because sometimes what works in the district and other districts within the district works well, but for your district and your school, your population, it doesn't work well at all. So you're seeing how you can become more effective and efficient with what you have in the school. The next thing we'll kind of be looking at is your LSMs. Like, what is that, Jordan? Learning management systems. So that's be like your Schoology, Blackboard, Google Classroom. Looking at as a school, how is that learning management system working, and what can be improved to make it a better experience for parents and for students? Now, with COVID-19, everyone threw everything online because you had to get on there, you had to do it, you got to do it, and it was needed, and we're just going for 2 years, just going because we didn't know there's no other way to do it. But now that we have a chance to kind of step back and really look at our online learning systems and platforms, we could see that maybe we may need to do a little bit of cleaning up, sprucing up, because it needs to be easy for parents and students to function with it. Teachers, we may know how to use it because we had to use it so frequently that we may not see the clutter that new users may see more than we do. And that's looking at maybe for Cherry Blossom Middle, we may just say, hey, for every title page for our school, we need to make sure the teacher has their name on there, they have the subject on there, and they have maybe some contact information, something on there that students and parents can delineate who is what teacher and how that works. So it's easier to find. Or maybe when they log into our online classroom, we have it organized in first 9 weeks, second 9 weeks, third 9 weeks, fourth 9 weeks, and students go into those folders that way. So it's easier to find information when they're in school and when they're out of school. Really looking at that management system, how to improve it as a school and make it more effective for the community and the student. We also want to check on how parents and students can navigate the digital classrooms, the different apps you use. Like Civics may use iCivics, we have iReady, we have Clever, we have different apps that we use. And so can students navigate those? Can students find those and use those? Really kind of honing in on making sure that the online experience is just as efficient as the offline experience with students, and really kind of cleaning that up. Also looking at teacher personal development. Do teachers need more training on how to use the online platform, how to use different online apps like maybe podcasting or doing video editing, Photoshop, Adobe Premiere, different things that teachers are seeing now that on the online space that's not so rushed will be best for student learning. And with that, parents can come on in and kind of be helped out along the way as teachers are getting educated more about how these educational practices and apps work to improve with the student and the parent. And that's one way to level up your schools when it comes to digital learning, so everyone can be a proper digital citizen in this digital economy. Now, that was a lot to go over, and that was so much fun and so much information about how the COVID-19 has impacted the digital divide, how we can help to mend that digital divide, and how we can also level up not just as schools and just professionals, but as teachers, how to help level up our students to be great digital citizens and move on further along. Now, in the great words of Amanda Gorman, there is always light if only you are brave enough to see it. If only we are brave enough to be it. Now, teachers, this digital world out here can be crazy and dangerous and all types of hectic, but however, we have to be brave to be able to show our students and our communities how to properly engage with digital technology. Now, keep on being exceptional teachers. When you teach, always teach with love. Now, in this next video, keep on seeing how a different way to think about your teaching and how to improve your teaching, not for the offline, but also for online. See you next time.